There were mixed fortunes for two former world number 1 players in Brisbane on Tuesday. Defending Sydney International champion Angelique Kerber has kick-started her campaign with a testing 7-6, 3, 6-2 win over Italy's Camila Giorgi. The world number 2 was on the back foot during both sets against her fiery opponent. Trailing 1-3 in the opener before clawing her way back and going on to edge Giorgi out in the tiebreaker. Then in the second set, which was briefly halted due to rain, Kerber responded to getting broken by winning 5 consecutive games in a row to secure the victory. "It's so great to be back here in Sydney. I have such great memories from last year, when I won the title," said Kerber, who finished runner-up in last week's Hopman Cup alongside Alexander Zverev. "It's always tough to play Camila, she hits the ball really hard. Even her second serve is like a first serve. I was trying to move good and bring a lot of balls back into play. It's always not easy to play your first tournament match of the season, but I'm happy to be through." Quote, withstanding 34 winners from Giorgi, Kerber claimed 65% of her first service points and converted 5 out of her 7 breakpoint opportunities. One of the most telling factors of the match was the unforced error count. Giorgi made 39 mistakes during the clash, which was 3 times more than Kerber, 13. Kerber is hoping for a case of déjà vu to occur in Sydney this week. 12 months ago, she won the title after experiencing a torrid 2017 season. Last year, she won 2 WTA titles, including the Wimbledon Championships, and re-entered the world's top 5. "I think 2017 was really important for me," she reflected. "I learned a lot about me, tennis, dealing with pressure and everything. I think without the last 2 of 3 years I wouldn't be the player I am now. It helped me win Wimbledon." Next up for the German player will be the winner of the match between Petra Kvitova and Shea Su Wei, which will take place on Wednesday. Elsewhere at the tournament, Ailing Muguruza has withdrawn from the draw. The former world number 1, who defeated Carlos Suarez Navarro in the first round, cited illness as the reason. The Spaniard is currently suffering from a gastrointestinal-related illness. Unfortunately, Ailing Muguruza has had to withdraw from. Get well soon, Garbinier, flexed biceps picked at twitter.com/qscap8apu. Last year a thigh injury resulting in her withdrawing from Brisbane and then missing Sydney completely. Muguruza's opponent, Kiki Bertens, will play either Sloane Stephens or Yania Putintseva in the quarter-finals. Further details about the newest team event coming to men's tennis have been announced. Sydney and Brisbane are 2 of the 3 cities that has been named to host the multi-million-dollar ATP Cup from 2020. 2 cities have beaten competition from other parts of Australia to host the relaunched team event, which is seen as a major threat to the Davis Cup. From next year, the ATP season will start with a 24-team competition. Held over 10 days, ties will consist of 2 singles and 1 doubles match. An offer will be a maximum of 750 ranking points for the winner as well as a mouth-watering prize money pool of $15 million. The ATP Cup fits perfectly with our strategy to innovate and look towards the future. We know from our extensive discussions with the players that the ATP Cup will provide a great way for them to open their season, bringing together the world's best for a major team event that complements existing scheduling, provides highly coveted ATP ranking points and clearly links to the Australian Open, ATP CEO Chris Kermode said in a statement. The first week of the season is when the players want to play and that's why the tournament has their strong support. By staging the event with Tennis Australia, which is renowned for its experience as an outstanding event promoter, we know that the tournament will be a great success from year one. Sydney has secured the finals matches until 2022. Under the plan, the Sydney Olympic Park Tennis Centre will have a $50.5 million upgrade, including building a roof over its premier court. Meanwhile, Brisbane will hold ties at the Queensland Tennis Centre. venue of the Brisbane International. The selection of Sydney has been praised by the local government, which predicts the new competition could bring almost an extra $40 million to the local economy. NSW Minister for Tourism and Major Events Adam Marshall has hailed the move. "This is another coup for our state, not only for athletes and sporting fans, but the wider NSW community who are set to win from the estimated $36.5 million injection into our local economy," Mr. Marshall said. A third city for the ATP Cup will be announced in due course. It is understood that both Adelaide and Perth are in the running to be selected. What about the others? In the wake of the new ATP Cup, other tennis tournaments face an uncertain future. It has already been confirmed that Brisbane will likely not host a men's singles tournament from 2020 after doing so for 11 years in a row. However, the women's tournament in the city looks set to remain. There are also unanswered questions about what will happen to the Sydney International in the future. The tournament has hosted both men's and women's draws since 1885, making it one of the longest-running tennis tournaments in the country. Should Perth get selected as the third venue for the ATP Cup, it could spell the end of the Hopman Cup, a mixed-team competition that has proven successful since its launch in 1989. This year's field include Roger Federer, Serena Williams and Alexander Zverev. "We had an unbelievable event here for so many years. The Hopman Cup has been very successful from a player's viewpoint," said three-time champion Federer. "The players have always enjoyed this event, so let's hope it continues in some shape and form. Where and how and what, honestly I don't know. In reality, is it likely the Hopman Cup is coming to an end?" Tennis Australia does currently have a contract with the West Australian government to run the event until 2022. Although it is unclear how it would survive in the absence of star players from the men's tour, who decides to play in the ATP Cup. Whilst the mixed-team tournament looks to be approaching its end, there is talk about creating a brand new women's event. Although few details have been given about the idea and where it would potentially be held. The 2020 ATP Cup will take place between January 3 to 12. The fairy tale run of the 18-year-old continues at the ASB Classic. Prior to this week, 18-year-old Bianca Andreescu had never defeated a top 10 player in her career. Now she has achieved two within as many days. Following up on her shock win over Caroline Wozniacki on Thursday, qualifier Andreescu has knocked out former world number 1 Venus Williams 6-7, 1, 6-1, 6-3, in the quarterfinals at the ASB Classic. The world number 152 looked on course to defeat after trailing the match by a set and break. Then an extraordinary turn of events saw the Canadian break a lackluster Williams 6 consecutive times as she won 11 games in a row. "I believe that anything is impossible, and tonight I think I did the impossible," Andreescu said during her on-court interview. "I don't know what to say. It's such an amazing feeling. What a week for 18-year-old Bianca Andreescu." The world number 152 has Q1, D. Kutkovac 2, D. Forlisk 3, D. Siegmund qualified 1R, D. Babos 2R, D. Wozniacki 3R, D. Venus into her first WTA semifinal at ASB_Classic. WTA Insider, @Wata_Insider, January 4, 2019. Andreescu's tenacious play on the court was one that drew numerous mistakes from her 38-year-old rival, who made her professional debut almost 6 years before she was born. Williams produced almost 4 times more errors than winners, ending the match with a tally of 46 unforced errors to 12 winners. In comparison, Andreescu achieved a ratio of 53-39. "My goal was to qualify and maybe get a couple rounds in," she said. "I believed in myself until the end. I fought and I really enjoyed myself." Born in Mississauga, Ontario and of Romanian descent, Andreescu is a 2-time Grand Slam doubles champion in the juniors that was ranked as high as 3rd in the world. Her win over Williams moves the teenager into her first WTA semifinal, and she is set to crack the top 115 for the first time in her career. Andreescu will play either third seed Shea Suwei or Spain's Sarah Sorribes-Tormo in the next round. Gorges survives. Earlier in the day, defending champion Julia Gorges battled her way past Eugenie Bouchard 3-6, 6-3, 7-6, 6, after more than 2.5 hours of play. The German second seed trailed 0-3 in the decider and then had to save a match point, before snatching the win from Bouchard in the decisive tiebreaker. For these conditions it was a pretty good match. We both made the best out of it and overall I'm very satisfied, Gorges said afterwards. I think the best part of my game today was finding solutions, trying to find way to come back in that third set, which I did really well. Overall, with these conditions sometimes you can't do something and it looks amateur, because some balls you just don't know where they're coming, they're just flying somewhere. For conditions, it was a good match, especially the third set and the tiebreak. Next up for Gorges will be Slovakia's Viktoria Kuzmova, who will be bidding to reach her first WTA final at the age of 20. The world number 50 overcame American wildcard Amanda Anisimova 6-3, 2-6, 6-4, earlier in the week. The two players have played against each other 3 times last year, with Gorges winning all of those matches in straight sets. Maria Sakkari beat Belinda Bencic 6-3, 6-4 in the women's singles match to keep Greece in contention after Roger Federer's win over Stefanos Tsitsipas in the men's singles match at the Hopman Cup in Perth. Sakkari earned the first break in the 6th game of the opening set after Bencic made a double fault. Bencic earned a break-back point in the 9th game when the backhand down the line, but Sakkari saved it with a forehand to seal the first set after 33 minutes. Both players traded breaks in the 3rd and 4th games of the 2nd set. They held their service games until the 9th game, when Sakkari broke serve when Bencic netted her backhand. The Greek player held her service game in the 10th game when a service winner to close out the match in straight sets. Sakkari and Tsitsipas beat Federer and Bencic 4-3, 5-4, 2-4, 4-3 in 1 hour and 7 minutes in an exciting mixed double match to give Greece an overall 2-1 in the tie against Switzerland. Despite the defeat, the Swiss team secured the spot in Saturday's final. Both teams held their service games, setting up a tie-break in the first set. Federer hit a service winner to open up a 4-2 lead for Switzerland, but Tsitsipas and Sakkari reeled off 3 consecutive points to win the tie-break 5-4. Tsitsipas dropped his serve in the 5th game of the 2nd set, when he netted his forehand. Federer held his serve at love to close out the 2nd set, forcing the match to the decisive 3rd set. Tsitsipas fended off a break point in the opening game when a 2nd serve. Federer saved 2 match points on serve in the 6th game to set up a tie-break. Sakkari and Tsitsipas rallied from 1-3 down by winning 4 consecutive points to seal the win on their debut in the Hopman Cup. Tsitsipas grew up in the myth of Roger Federer and fulfilled his childhood dream to play against the 20-time Grand Slam champion. I have been dreaming of this match for a long time. I used to watch him on YouTube. The rivalry between him and Rafa. Most of his Wimbledon and US Open. I respect him a lot. He is the guy that first respect the most on the tour. It's the best feeling on earth, even though I lost. There's a lot of things I can learn from that match. It was a really good lesson today. He is going to give me a hard time on the court, said Tsitsipas in the post-match interview. Federer was impressed by the 20-year-old Greek rising star, who won his first ATP title in Stockholm last October before clinching the next-gen ATP finals in Milan. He could be my son. He did a nice job. I think we both played well, without too many mistakes. I learned about his game. From my game, I did not learn anything. It's about maintaining a good level of play. I am happy where my game is at. I was impressed with what I saw from Stefanos, said Federer.